I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, died with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free with me.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here today as part of the Card Maker Success Summit, showing you my super fun card. So it's the birthday card that I have, the Peep Through birthday. And I'm so excited to see so many of you in the chat. If you're watching the replay, you weren't able to join us live, thank you so much for popping by. I absolutely love it when you guys interact, join, have fun, chat, and if any of you have any questions, leave them in the live chat or down in the comments below. I will check periodically to make sure that you're getting your question answered, or if you'd like, then make sure that you pop a question into the Facebook group, tag me to make sure that I can see your post, because there are so many incredible projects being shared all the time, and I just really love seeing them. So I'd love to see your question. I'd love to see the card that you make. Where's the other one that I have? And there's this one. There's another variation of the card. I think these are so much fun because, you know, Print and Cut does all the hard work for you in terms of the title and the little confetti in the back, and we can just have fun and mess around with our colors. So what I thought that I would do today, and I hope I have the correct preset set up, is, yes, I do. I thought I would craft along with you guys and just mess around. You guys can ask questions. We can sit here and chat for a little bit. So I'm just very excited to have you here and to chat to you. How many of you guys, okay, granted, it went live like an hour ago, so if you haven't watched the video yet, it's fine. Don't worry. But yeah, like I said, this is what I made, my little birthday card, and I am excited to have you. So what I did was I saw a question there by Lisa. It said, do you have ideas for other peek through elements like the balloons? So do you mean like replacing the balloons with something else, like a completely different design? I haven't thought of doing other things, but I totally could. I mean, you could do presents. How cool would that be? Like a whole stack of little okay, I need to write this down. I'm going to write this down in my book, my journal, something fell, but it's fine. It didn't break. I'll pick it up later. So a presents one could be cool. Like, you know, you could have like individual wrapping paper. Oh, I like answer that. Ugh. Words, you guys. It's 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon because I'm in South Africa, so like completely different time zone. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. My brain is in creative mode, fun create, not words mode. Words mode is gone, although it needs to be back for at least a little bit. But I love that question. That was a really great question, so thank you for asking. Let's just switch here. So and then I can answer some of the other, ooh, snowflakes. That's a great one. Trees, lollipops. I love those ideas. I mean, we could also, what other ideas do you guys have in terms of birthday-ish? So if we go with like balloons, presents, sweeties. Sweeties could be fun, but I love the idea of snowflakes because that could make a really nice like winter card. Maybe I could plan another one like this for like a snowflakey vibe and do it for a project a little bit later on in the year because, you know, maybe there may or may not be some holidays coming up this year and we can try those. So what I'm just going to do today, like I said, just kind of mess around and have fun. Deborah says your project is coming in very small. It doesn't have print and cut on the download. That's interesting. I'm not quite sure why yours is coming in very small. Are you uploading the layer, the PNG layer, as a print and cut? Because that should, fireworks, Sonia. Now that is a fantastic, I'm going to write that one down too. Okay, I'm going to do snowflakes and fireworks. I really like those ideas. But yeah, I really like when you guys like share all these fun things, because it just makes life so much more fun for us. So with this one, I think what I did with these is like, you know, put some ink down on the now I'm using my Tim Holtz matte. It's just a glass matte. Doesn't really matter which matte you use. And then my distress oxides, because they're nice. They give you like a little oxide effect. And that is not luminous green. The color correction is clearly a little bit off. But you can kind of combine a whole bunch of different ones if you wanted to. Let's do some very, very different colors. So this is just the blueprint sketch. What other projects have you guys made? There's just been so many amazing projects being shared, and I love being inspired. Oh, that was the wrong one. I was supposed to grab purple. You sausage. That's fine. Does that happen to you guys? Like, I've got all of my distress inks just off to the side. I recently bought a bunch of new ones. Can you tell which ones they are? I bought them secondhand because these things are expensive and people destash, and I will take advantage of their savings. Thank you very much. And I still need to do the labels on them. The lady did some of the labels, but not all of them. So I should have grabbed that one, but I grabbed the blue one instead. It's fine. Doesn't matter. Where's my little spray bottle? I had it a moment ago when I was watering my plant. I've got a little fern. See, that's why it's nice to have craft supplies, because craft supplies are now multifunctional. Not only is this one that I use for my inks, but I also use it to keep my plant hydrated. What are those? So are you talking about the inks? Arlene says she's almost done with her St. Paddy's Day cards. Oh, that's exciting. So these are just ink pads. These are distress oxide inks. So essentially it's like an opaque ink where it's a little bit white-ish, and it doesn't, if you put it on like a colored cardstock, it actually shines through. You don't have to use white, which is quite fun. So I'm just going to do a couple sprays of water, and I take my glasses off so that I can see. A couple sprays of water. I probably should have cut this down a little bit. Let me just cut that down. What do you have the ink pads stored in? So I've got them stored in the actual Tim Holtz. It looks like I'm a Tim Holtz fanatic. I'm not. And I'm not sponsored by them or anything. It's just makes good stuff, and it's available here in South Africa, so I don't really have a choice. So this is their distress ink storage tin. But what I actually did with this, interestingly enough, is there's like a little plastic insert on the inside where the ink pads all fit into, that you can see there. Take more than one out so that you can see. See there's a little plastic. I actually took it out, turned it around, and stuck it back in, because when you get it, the ink pad's all facing the other way around. So the ink pad itself, this section, is that way, which is fine, but I want to stand mine on the flat side. So I've turned it around so that when I stand mine up, the ink pads are facing down, because I think you're supposed to do the ink pads facing down. When I Googled it, that was what they said, I think. So I've just switched mine around, and now it can stand and not take up as much space, and I can then see the colors. It's a great tin. I really like it. They're stackable, Susan. Yes, that's 100% correct. If you lie them on their base, So the sweet spot for bakers says, could there be an alternative to the ink pads for coloring? You can use whatever you want. That's kind of, for me, the advantage of this kind of a project or a card, is whatever you have is more than good enough. And that's kind of why I like this so much. Let me actually put that off to the side, because otherwise it's going to fall straight into the inky, which I want, but not right now. So I think it was sometime last year, I shared a video on my YouTube channel on, I think it was called Sparking Joy. And it was where I was creating these fun backgrounds. So for this one, what I actually used was those inks over there. Oh no, it was those inks. I've got so many different inks, you guys. I'll just put my fan. So I used these inks. These are just nothing special. They are, I think I took like alcohol ink markers, like I think I mentioned this in the video. I say I think because I filmed this video about a year ago, and I should no, but I mean I know that I mentioned it in the video anyway, so like I'm being silly. But I took a cheap set of alcohol ink pens, cut them open, and in the little container you can see there, just there underneath my nail, it's that inside section of the pen. And I just diluted it with rubbing alcohol. And that's how I created this, by using the pipettes. I can show you that in a moment. Let me leave that out and I'll show you one. But whatever you want. You can use blending brushes. I'm going to show you this kind of technique as well. You know, where you just dip the ink in water. Gives you this nice, like, you know, watery effect. And you can just keep going back, dipping it in, creating this fun illusion. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, this is the kind of project where you can just have fun. All right, there we go. So that looks like a fun little splotchy something. And yeah, so if you go get like a set of alcohol markers from like the Dollar Tree, they don't have to have good brush tips. They don't have to be super fancy. You can just use them for this kind of a project. You can just take them apart. I would say use tweezers because the ink gets everywhere. And then just put them in little spray bottles or bottles that you can decant or whatever. And then just add in some rubbing alcohol. And then you've got a whole set of like nice alcohol inks. They're not like super pigmented, but it's fine. They're inexpensive. So as an example, there, you can now use that as an underlay for the balloons. You can position it whichever way you want. And it took us like a couple seconds. And if you don't really like those colors, then how much ink is there? You can then go and add, like I said, I wanted to add a purple. So then you just take a purple, maybe add the purple down there to the bottom. And then let's add a little bit more. What is the other green that I have? The other green I have is Lucky Clover, which could be quite fun. It's a little bit deeper. So maybe I put that, you know, over there in the corner. And again, I'm going to say this a lot. That's why I like this kind of thing, because you can just go wild, have fun. Let them dry, come back later, put them all together, and bing, bang, boom, before you know it, you've got a whole bunch of fun. You can also use mica powder. Yes, Tammy. Nice to see you here, Tammy. Hi. Where are you from? You notice the accent. So I'm from Cape Town in South Africa. So I'm in a completely different time zone to you guys. So you see there, we now have a completely different vibe. And if you wanted to try it with that, you could use that one. You could kind of, you know, position it so that you get both if you want to, or you can, grab a little bit more color on the inside, add a little bit more water. And of course, however you dip the page into your ink depends on like how the ink colors come up. So if you have a little bit more water and you drag it through, it creates a softer effect. If you just dab it down on the water, it gives you these kind of harder edges and like little splotches. So that's a nice thing to use. So Mary asks, have you found any pens that work on dark paper? I haven't tried, but as an example, if you had to use not necessarily with this technique, or not this technique, but this technique of diluting them, because you're diluting them with alcohol ink, if you had to, or alcohol, rubbing alcohol, if you had to use like an acrylic paint pen, it wouldn't work all that well. You have other options that you can use. So like Tammy mentioned, we tried once in a members live where we used mica powder, or at least we tried to, or at least we spoke about using mica powder, I think. My brain, like I mentioned, I can barely even remember what I did yesterday, you guys. So that's one of the ones that we created. Let me show you with this one. So you can see there. Or again, if you want to get like in the middle and get a bunch of different colors, it looks so fun. And then you can use that as your card. Are the stencils available for this class? So this, Tammy, this project file is available. I think I always get carried away when I make these kinds of things, and I make like 5 or 6. So I think for this project, I made quite a few. You have to make sure that you're signed up, and then you should be able to grab the project files on that on today's video, because obviously it's live today. You've pretty much got, from the end of this stream, you've pretty much got like 22.5 hours to get it all done. So the ink one that we tried, let me show you that one quick. I'm just going to switch over to the other side of my glass mat. And then pretty much what I did, I don't know why I'm only taking out blues and greens and purples today. Oh, you're VIP. So then it should be available within the portal. Well, I mean, it should be on this on my project page. So put this aside because I don't want that one to get dirty, messed on. All right, so we just take any one of the colors. How do you make a shaker card out of something like that? So what you would need to do with that is you would put foam tape on, or put a piece of acetate under the back of this. I don't have any acetate handy. I've only got frosted sheet, which is not really gonna do the job. But as an example, pretend this is clear. You can put that on the back and then just use foam on the outside to create the dimension that you want. And then you put all your little goodies in there, and then you can make shaker cards like that. So it should be pretty easy to do, and actually a very good idea. Maybe I might even take advantage of that idea and show you guys how to do it in a different event. So you guys are giving me all the ideas today. I love it. Let's use a pipette. So Frida says neon gel pens. That's a good idea. But how would they react with alcohol? Because with this technique, you might just need to use something different. You might need to use like water or something like that. I'm not sure. So I'm just dropping. I don't have any other pipettes. Where did I put them? Because otherwise I would have put the purple pipette back into another color, and I don't really like doing that. I like to try and keep the colors a little bit separate. Let me see if I've got my other pipettes over there. No, I don't. That's all right. We'll just use the... I think for this, I didn't use regular paper. I think for this one, that one I used the photo paper because it spread around a little bit better. So if we use a green, maybe let's not go purple and green. Could look quite cool, but I'm not feeling the Halloween vibes right now. So then we can just, if you want smaller dots, you can just shake it off, tap it off the thingamabob, you guys. I've told you my words are finished for the week. That's why we're doing fun stuff. What paper do I use for cards? So the one that I'm using at the moment is an AC cardstock, and it's a little bit more teal. So this is nice if you want the colors from the alcohol ink to dry quickly. If you don't necessarily want them to like mix too much, but if you want them to mix and blend, then you would use something that has a slightly waxier surface. So like the photo paper, like I mentioned, that you can just mix them a little bit. But because this doesn't have any like waxy protective surface, it's got like a very thin porous surface, they pretty much dry almost instantly. So when you are doing this kind of thing, they don't actually blend unless you spray a little bit of alcohol and then you place the dots on there. That's when they start to bleed a little bit more, because there's a little bit more color or medium for them to disperse on the page. So I just really like this because you can just sit here, you can put on Bridgerton, you can watch the rest of the new episodes. I haven't even watched the first set of episodes, so I'm a little bit behind, and you can just mess around, have fun, no pressure. That's kind of why I like these projects. You cut a bunch of the pages and then you just chill. And everyone looks completely different. So you can try out different color combinations. And if the color combination doesn't work for you, you just try a different one. Can the Copic re-inkers be used for this technique? They definitely can, but Copics are horrifically expensive. That's why I would suggest for this kind of a thing is using something a lot less expensive, because the Copics are, like I said, they're very good quality and they're very expensive. But this is, I promise you, this was like the cheapest alcohol ink markers that you can get, and we're getting beautiful vibrant colors. There's lots in there. I could probably add a little bit more alcohol ink and stretch this a little bit further. So if you have the re-inkers and you don't really know what to do with them, by all means, then this is a great way to kind of use them. But I'm all about not spending a fortune on things and still getting great results. So that's kind of why I like to just use the cheapest chips one, because it gets very similar results for a fraction of the price. And let's try the blue again. I think everybody's saying the colors are so pretty. I love it. Okay, so Lisa asks, do you know if it's possible to do print and cut with a Brother scan and cut machine? As far as I know, yes. The steps are just going to be a little bit different, but I haven't actually used a Brother. So if I am wrong, please correct me. But as far as I know, they do have like a print and cut. So you will be able to do this project with that as well. If you're wanting to do it, like print it out first and then cut it using the scan and cut feature, I think that might be a little bit more difficult because there are no like solid edges. It's white on white. So it would be a little bit trickier to get right, but it's still possible. Definitely still possible. Oh, I'm so glad you guys like the colors. And of course, if you want the colors to blow out a little bit, look a little bit stranger and like mottled and that kind of thing, you can just go back in, spray it a little bit, give a little bit of a different effect. And we're just going to wait for that to dry, and then I'll show you what it looks like. But you see how easy we've essentially just created another 3 card bases, and then all we need to do is just put the other thingy on top, and Bob's your uncle, Tammy, Jennifer made a video about the new Cricut machines. You're not going to get them. Okay. They're not even available in my country either. So I suppose that decision has been made for me. Well, at least not yet. Can you use mica powder mixed with the alcohol? So Mary Beth, that's what we were talking about in our members only live stream. And I'm pretty sure you can. You would need to shake them up every time because obviously they would then, you know, fall to the bottom, but you definitely could be able to. So check out how fun that is, and look at how fun specifically like this section is. And then when you put that on there, you can have these super fun, I mean, just look at how cool that is. And when you turn it around, you can get different sections of the color. Bob's your uncle. Is that a worldwide thing, Michelle? Is that, or is that not a saying that you guys use in the US? I don't know. Yeah, so you can tie-dye things and have like a fun tie-dye effect. There's just so much that you can do. So we've created that one. And then of course this one has like a slightly more whitish hue to it. And you have that. So if you enjoy the more pastel kind of colors, you can also, I suppose, cut out the circles and stick them on if you wanted to. Oh, yeah, Vicky says it's an old saying there. Okay, cool. I'm glad. Yeah, so you can really play around a lot with these kinds of things. And that's kind of the projects that I really like. So I'd love to see what combinations, color combinations you guys have created, and what fun things that you've said that you've I read there Michelle said her grandfather, it's not said here. What color combinations you've used, which of the covers that you've used, because there's happy birthday and there's also let's celebrate you, because, you know, if you want to just celebrate somebody, maybe they got a promotion or something like that. Karen asks, how about using watercolor paint? Karen, that is an incredibly fantastic idea. You absolutely can use whatever you want underneath, whatever, watercolor, acrylic. I mean, you could probably even cut up some oil paintings if you really wanted to, because it's dry and it's underneath. It's completely up to you. That's why I'm so excited to see what you guys have combined with this kind of card. And I cannot wait to see what you've done with it. So thank you guys all so much for joining. I completely agree with you. I could also get completely carried away with this. It is just so much fun to do and have just play. Like I said in my YouTube video that I created last year, it's sparking joy of creating, just making a mess. So thank you guys so much. I cannot wait to see what you make. Please post in the Facebook group and tag me. It's like the highlight of these events for me is seeing what you've made and your amazing creations. Where's my card? This is probably one of my favorite ones. So I really enjoyed being here and chatting with you guys today, and I cannot wait to see what you've made. I will see you all sometime very soon. And remember, be kind to someone today. See you soon.